purpose of financing general development purposes in any foreign currency or currencies. And whereas Section 17.1 of the Discover Dominica Authority Act, Chapter 2007 of the 2017 revised laws of the Commonwealth of Dominica states that, with the approval of the House of Assembly, the Minister of Finance may guarantee in such manner and on such conditions as he thinks fit the payments of the principal and interest of any authorized borrowing by the authority. And whereas the government of Dominica is desirous of securing additional direct flights from international destinations to advance its development goals for Dominica. And whereas to date the government has made significant progress towards establishing and increasing airlift from major source markets, more recently with 1, the extension and grooving of the runway at Douglas Charles Airport, and 2, the ongoing development of the international airport. And whereas the Discover Dominica Authority, DDA, has entered into an amended air service agreement with United Airlines, Inc., a Delaware corporation, for a twice-weekly direct flights between Dominica and Newark, New Jersey, during the following periods. Period 1, February 15, 2025 to August 16, 2025. Period 2, October 18, 2025 to April 25, 2026. And period 3, October 17, 2026 to April 24, 2027. And whereas on 9th December 2024, Honorable House of Assembly authorized the guarantee of 3 bank guarantees totaling $7,307,632.35 for Discover Dominica Authority to be obtained from the National Bank of Dominica. And whereas United Airlines has proposed additional direct service on Wednesdays, which requires an increase in the guarantees obtained from the National Bank of Dominica. And whereas bank guarantees in the amount of Eastern Caribbean $12,213,003.44 are required to secure the existing and additional commitments made in the air service agreement. And whereas the National Bank of Dominica has agreed to provide the bank guarantees to the Discover Dominica Authority. And whereas Discover Dominica Authority and/or the government of Dominica may enter into debt in the event of a recovery or drawdown from the bank guarantees by United Airlines, Inc. Be it resolved that in accordance with Section 37 of the Finance Administration Act, Chapter 6302 of the 2017 revised laws of the Commonwealth of Dominica, this Honorable House authorizes an increase in the bank guarantees from a total of $7,307,632.35 to a total of $12,213,003.44 for Discover Dominica Authority to be obtained from the National Bank of Dominica. These bank guarantees are required to secure the existing and additional commitments made in the air service agreement between the Discover Dominica Authority and United Airlines for the provision of direct flights from Newark to Dominica.
I beg to second the motion.
Mr. Speaker, the government of Dominica successfully negotiated an agreement with United Airlines for direct flights from Newark to Dominica every Saturday. The flights began on February 14, 2025. I wish to again thank the members of the House who supported the resolution for the guarantees to secure these flights last December. Mr. Speaker, United Airlines is very happy with the performance of the Saturday flights. As at May 10, 2025, the average load factor was 77%. The airline is now proposing an additional weekly service between Dominica and Newark, New Jersey, EWR, on Wednesdays to commence this October 2025. This proposal is subject to an amendment to the minimum revenue guarantee. The new Wednesday flight is proposed for October 19th, 2025 to April 26, 2026, and October 17th, 2026 to April 24th, 2025 as follows. Departing Newark 9 a.m. and arriving Dominica at 1:39 p.m. Departing Dominica at 2:45 p.m. and arriving Newark at 7:51 p.m. Aircraft and capacity, that is the Boeing 737, a capacity between 126 to 179 passengers. Government welcomes the addition of the Wednesday flights. It will increase the number of direct flights from North America, which is the preferred option for visitors. In addition, it will allow more flexibility for visitors who would prefer shorter vacations. For example, flying on a Saturday and return on Wednesday, or Wednesday and return on Saturday. We therefore anticipate increased stay-over visitor arrivals, resulting in increased economic activity and the yielding of some returns on the recent investments at Douglas Charles Airport, that is the extension and grooving of the runway. United Airlines has proposed amendments to its current air service agreement to incorporate the terms and conditions in respect of the Wednesday service, along with a reduction in the amount to be guaranteed for flights for the existing Saturday flights, based on actual historical data and updated cost forecast. This, in effect, will be a benefit to the Commonwealth of Dominica. Therefore, increases in the bank guarantee are not required for each period to reflect the increased flights after taking into account the adjustment for a reduction in guarantees per flight. Section 37 of the Finance Administration Act, Chapter 6302 of the 2017 Revised Laws of the Commonwealth of Dominica states that no guarantee involving any financial liability shall be binding upon the government unless that guarantee is given in accordance with the provisions of an act or unless approved by resolutions of the House of Assembly. Additionally, Section 3.1 of the Loans Act, Chapter 6405 of the 2017 Revised Laws of the Commonwealth of Dominica, the House of Assembly may by resolution duly passed authorize the minister responsible for finance to borrow money from approved sources or guarantee loans to statutory boards of public corporations for the purpose of financing general development purposes and for other purposes. Further, Section 17.1 of the Discover Dominica Authority Act, Chapter 2007 of the 2017 Revised Laws of the Commonwealth of Dominica states that, with the approval of the House of Assembly, the Minister of Finance may guarantee in such manner and on such conditions as he thinks fit the payments of the principal and interest of any authorized borrowing by the authority. Mr. Speaker, I now commend the resolution to the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The motion is before the House for debate. Yes, Honorable Lockhart.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm requesting permission to go through my notes.
Permission granted.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I rise fully to support the resolution for the authorization to guarantee the increased bank guarantees required by Discover Dominica Authority to secure the additional commitments made in its air service agreement with United Airlines, Inc. I rise today to share a story of transformation. The story of how far Dominica has come in expanding air access, enhancing our tourism product, and positioning ourselves as a rising star in the global tourism landscape. Mr. Speaker, I recall that there was a time Dominica was described as one of the most difficult destinations to reach in the Caribbean. Several stops long layovers, overnighting. That is no longer our story. Today, we are rewriting that narrative. Through strategic investments and strong leadership, we have modernized the Douglas Charles Airport, enabling night landings, extending and grooving the runway, and updating our navigating charts. These critical upgrades have significantly improved safety, operations, and year-round reliability. As we prepare for our international airport, we are doing the groundwork now, Mr. Speaker, establishing strong relationships with global airline partners, confirming direct routes from key source markets, and signing foundating air service agreements. We have successfully signed agreements with Qatar and are in advanced stages of negotiation with 3 more countries. We need to give ourselves a pat on the back. These actions lay the foundation, Mr. Speaker, for our future success and position Dominica as a serious player in the international aviation. Mr. Speaker, our efforts are bearing fruits. Our destination continues to receive international recognition. And while some may seek to speak, that may say that we speak too often about our accolades, let me be clear, Mr. Speaker, these are not mere vanity metrics. These are independent reviews that validate the quality, uniqueness, and sustainability of our tourism product. They place Dominica on the world stage alongside and at times ahead of long-established destinations. These accolades are driving interest, media attention, and visitor demand. They are a direct result of the consistent quality and authenticity that Dominica offers. So with the increase in demand that these accolades bring, we must make it easier for our guests to visit Dominica. We can no longer let access be an encumbrance to the destination. We must do the work now, ahead of the international airport, so that when the time comes, we will be focused on scaling up access, expanding existing products, and being the access hub of the Caribbean. Mr. Speaker, there were those on the opposition side of this House, if they recall, who ridiculed our decision to launch direct flights with American Airlines and United Airlines, saying that the flights would be too small and old, that we would not get more visitors, that it would be only returning Dominicans on the flight. But we stood with our vision and by our vision. And today that vision has paid off. United Airlines has seen load factors as high as 96%. American Airlines alone accounted for 37% of all air arrivals in May, the highest monthly contribution by any single airline. Our May 2025 arrivals exceeded projections by 10% and surpassed May 2019 by 19%. And visitor arrivals from the US has increased by 34% from 2019. Mr. Speaker, this is not luck. It is the result of thoughtful planning, consistent investment, and a government committed to building a better, more connected Dominica. It is against this backdrop that I'm pleased to announce another major achievement. As part of our ongoing efforts to enhance air access, Dominica will be signing an agreement with United Airlines for the addition of a midweek flight from New York Liberty International Airport. This will expand the current once-weekly Saturday service to include a Wednesday flight, effectively doubling direct airlift from one of our largest source markets, the United States. The Saturday service has performed exceptionally well since its inception, with average seat occupancy of 77% and peak loads reaching 96%. United Airlines, encouraged by this performance, has welcomed the addition and proposed a simple amendment to the existing agreement. Importantly, Mr. Speaker, they have also agreed to reduce the guaranteed amount per flight, a sign of their confidence in the continued viability and growth of the route. Mr. Speaker, this midweek flight is timely. The cessation of Silver Airlines service from San Juan, resulting in the loss of 288 seats per week. This new United flight not only helps to recover the capacity, but also enhances access from New York, home to a large diaspora and a fast-growing market of eco-conscious travelers. It also supports diverse travel patterns, from short 4-day and 5-day trips to fully 7-night vacations, business travels, and incentive groups, all of which prefer midweek travel options. And importantly, it complements rather than competes with our other direct services from Miami and New York. Mr. Speaker, this development signals that Dominica is not standing still. We are advancing, we are growing, and we are becoming a serious contender in the regional tourism market. Mr. Speaker, I want to extend our sincere thanks to United Airlines for their confidence and continued partnership. This is a strong endorsement of our tourism product and a tangible sign of progress. Our government, the Dominica Labour Party government, remains steadfast in its mission to expand airlift, increase our visitor arrivals, and unlock economic opportunity for every Dominican. Dominica is not just open to the world. Dominica is rising. And together, Mr. Speaker, we will continue this upward journey. With these few words, I support this bill wholeheartedly. Thank you.
Yes, Senator.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise this morning in full support of the resolution before this Honorable House, Mr. Speaker, which essentially will facilitate the additional direct flight from Newark, New Jersey to Dominica. And Mr. Speaker, I had the opportunity to travel on that flight earlier this year. Now, initially I was a bit skeptical, big plane, small runway, but I'm not an engineer. But it was a beautiful experience, Mr. Speaker. And what struck me or what got me was the fact that, we say that it's Newark and we would wish it was New York, but it's how easy it is to commute from Newark to New York. Very, very simple. Very easy to do. Train, right there, you Penn Station, and from Penn Station you can go anywhere across any of the boroughs in New York. Very easy. So I think that is something that people speak about and they say New York so far, but it really is close and it is accessible for persons in New York and the greater tri-state area. But Mr. Speaker, this resolution is not merely about aviation logistics or numbers. It's about access, it's about opportunity, and overall it is about national development. And who would have thought that on February 15th, 2025, we would have seen that flight make a historic landing to Dominica, Mr. Speaker. That flight carried over 100 passengers, and in 4.5 hours, it connected the heartbeat of the east coast of the US to the heartbeat of the Caribbean, right here in Dominica. And this achievement, Mr. Speaker, is a product of vision. Vision from this Dominica Labour Party government, led by our Honorable Prime Minister, who continues to deliver real, tangible progress for the development of the people of Dominica. And Mr. Speaker, with this additional flight, what this tells me is that this is a responsive government. A responsive government that noted that just on the 11th of June, I believe it was, that Silver Airways ceased their operations. And here we are, Mr. Speaker, on the 24th of June, making arrangements to ensure that we have additional flights coming into Dominica, Mr. Speaker, from mainland US. Mr. Speaker, that is a responsive, that is a strategic government responding to the changing landscape. And I think this government has to be commended for this, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let's be clear, and please permit me to refer from my notes from time to time. And
The permission granted, but you're doing exceptionally well. I saw you leading the way.
well, Mr. Speaker, I listened to your cautions over the last few sittings, so I've been practicing. Well, Mr. Speaker, let's be clear. Expanding direct service to the United States is an economic imperative. Tourism, one of the most important sectors, depends on reliable, frequent, and convenient access. A second weekly flight means more hotel bookings, more visitors to our restaurants, more excursions for our tour guides, and more demand for fresh produce from our local farmers. And people must realize, Mr. Speaker, when they go on the radio and they say that we do not need this flight, what they're effectively doing is trying to prevent these very same stakeholders from making money. Like our Prime Minister likes to say, how you want to take out bread in their mouth and you can't give them a biscuit, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, this is not a cost, but this is an investment in job creation, in local entrepreneurship, and in rural community development. I mean, Mr. Speaker, simply when you look at a direct impact of this United Airlines flying to Dominica, you see a very visible benefit when you go to the airport, you know, Mr. Speaker. And you see the number of Dominicans who are working for United Airlines at the airport doing what it is that they do. And with an additional flight, what this means or what this tells me is that these people will be in a better position making more money because there's more work to be done, Mr. Speaker. And this is what we mean by job creation. And this is just a direct, a literal direct, return. And Mr. Speaker, another reason why I like this flight so much, Mr. Speaker, is at a time where booyah music, Mr. Speaker, has emerged as one of the hottest and most influential genres in the Caribbean. This increased flight creates an incredible opportunity for more visitors to come to Dominica and experience our unique cultural identity. Because we all know that the New York, New Jersey, and that area, there's a large Caribbean population there, Mr. Speaker. And these flights invite them to experience the rhythms of Dominica, the booyah, the culture, and the unparalleled vibes that our lovely island Dominica has. And it's all just one convenient flight away. Not just one, but now 2 days a week, Mr. Speaker. And furthermore, we've seen that the operational periods for this airline service have been strategically aligned with our festive and tourism season. By accommodating key events like Carnival and the World Pure Music Festival, this will ensure that we maximize visitor inflows during these times when our cultural and economic activities are at their peak. Mr. Speaker, I think at this juncture it's also important to remind the listening public that this is a bank guarantee and not upfront expenditure. It is a tool that is used globally in the airline partnerships to provide a level of security for routes as they become established. Mr. Speaker, we are not spending blindly. We are securing a seat at the global table, backed by responsible terms, measurable outcomes, and strong leadership by this Dominican Labour Party administration. Mr. Speaker, today, this Parliament is being asked not just to support a flight, but to support a forward-moving Dominica. A Dominica that doesn't retreat in the face of setbacks, but advances with strategy. A Dominica that values connection, growth, and opportunity. And this is what this resolution represents. And this is why I support it fully. Because when the world is only 4.5 hours away, the possibilities for Dominica are endless. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Senator Paris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, good morning. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I'd like to refer to my notes from time to time.
Permission granted.
Mr. Speaker, nobody can debate that having adequate increased access to Dominica from the wider world, particularly internationally, nobody can debate whether that is a good thing or not. That is something that for years we have complained about and asked questions about and sought ways that we could improve, particularly air access into Dominica. A number of people always complain of the overnighting and all of those things. And now that is a thing of the past. And that is deserving of commendation. However we got there, that's a good thing. And that shouldn't be debated. So the rest of my debate is not in question with that fact, because that is a fact, right? I mean, come on. And Mr. Speaker, we have some work to do, so let's get to it. I want to make some brief remarks on the resolution for the House that seeks to secure existing and additional commitments made in the air service guarantee between the government of Dominica and United Airlines. In the resolution discussed and passed on December 16th, 2024, and in this current resolution that we are debating now. Mr. Speaker, in December, the Honorable House approved a resolution authorizing a minimum revenue guarantee valued at 11.1 million EC dollars. And this was to ensure that United Airlines would receive the agreed minimum revenue for its direct air service from Newark, New Jersey into Melbourne Hall on a weekly basis, regardless of ticket sales. This contract covered 3 specific operational periods that spanned over 26 months. February 15th, 2025 to August 16th, 2025, covered by 3.8 million EC. August 16th, 2025 to April 27th, 2026, covered by $3.6 million. And April 25th, 2026 to April 26th, 2027, covered by 3.7 million EC dollars. This brings us to a total of approximately 11.1 million EC, an average of over $460,000 per month, an average of over $110,000 per week. The first question to the Minister of Finance, I would have loved to ask another minister, but she's not here today, unfortunately. Since the commencement of the flights on February 15th, can we account or provide a detailed account, rather, of how much of the minimum revenue guarantee that has been committed to date. I heard the minister say that we are at 77% load factor, but it will be good to find out what is the equivalent minimum revenue guarantee that that represents, right? Now, Mr. Speaker, before we proceed, I would like to point out there are some discrepancies. I mean, it might have been a typographical error, but the resolution says that this was passed on December 9th. It was passed on December 16th. And also, too, I don't know if it's a technical error or something of the sort. I don't think that sections of that debate was not aired live, and I don't think it's available online now. If anybody wanted to do a review, I don't think that is available. So that's something that we may also have to check on. And Mr. Speaker, the change since that initial resolution was passed, we're now entered an amended air service agreement with United Airlines, and this revised agreement brings the following changes. One, we are increasing the frequency to twice weekly. That is including the Wednesday flight. And the new operational periods taken down from 26 months, we have February 15th, 2025 to August 16th, 2025. We have October 18th, 2025 to April 25th, 2026. October 17th, 2026 to April 24th, 2027. Now, Mr. Speaker, obviously, this logically implies an increase in the cost burden. And we have heard from two of our ministers that the minimum revenue guarantee per flight has been taken down or suggested lower. But obviously, Mr. Speaker, it represents an increase in the cost burden. We have more flights. We double in the flights. All right? However, we have not seen a corresponding upwards revision of the $11.1 million that we already approved. Instead, Mr. Speaker, what we have seen in this resolution is that it is suggested that the Parliament approve the bank guarantee of 7.3, significantly less than the $11.1 million that was actually approved on December 16. Now, that is a striking disparity of $3.8 million. And the new resolution does not provide a justification or any type of amendment explaining, one, whether the minimum revenue guarantee contract was revised downwards, or whether the remaining $3.8 million will be covered under another mechanism, or whether the Parliament's decision of December 2024 authorization has been overridden or selectively implemented. Moreover, Mr. Speaker, the resolution proposes to increase the NBD guarantee to $12.2 million to accommodate the Wednesday flight. But I didn't hear the minister provide a financial breakdown of this figure. So obviously it is unclear. What the questions that now come up, Mr. Speaker, is, does that now replace the 11.1 million? Or is it a composite figure? We don't have any details, we don't have any cash flow, we don't have any plan, and no parliamentary amendments have been tabled. Therein lies the discrepancy, Mr. Speaker. So I'm hoping either in the wrap-up that the Minister of Finance can help to clarify a number of these things, because a number of questions are now being raised. Who authorized the bank guarantee of $7.3 million when 11.1 EC was approved on December 16th by this Honorable House? Number two, was the $11.1 million revised downward? If yes, by whom and under what authority and what process? Now, what is the actual projected total liability under the amended agreement given the extended service timeline and frequency? We hear that we're saying it's now 12.2, but we're also hearing that the minimum revenue guarantee per flight has been reduced. Mr. Speaker, what I'm saying is that the $11.1 million should already be covering the extensions that we're trying to cover. Maybe somebody can explain where that discrepancy or disparity is coming from. Why hasn't the Parliament been presented with a clear reconciliation of the financial commitments, including any updated contract terms or annexes, so we can see what the changes are? And this type of questioning, Mr. Speaker, always results to this question. Are we at the risk of unmonitored liabilities exceeding the sums initially debated and passed? A few simple questions, Mr. Speaker. I think it's easy to understand and easy to reconcile. Recommendation, Mr. Speaker, I would therefore like to respectfully ask the Minister to present, if he can, an updated breakdown of the minimum revenue guarantee liability under the amended agreement, including the basis for the increase or the proposed $12.2 million guarantee, given that we already have 11.1 approved. If we can table a resolution or a revised resolution, or maybe we can do some amendments during committee, that will show the actual cost projections and any anticipated future supplementary budgets. Clarify the legal process to which the 11.1 million was either reduced or restructured, and if you can give us some paperwork or some kind of track record to show us how that was done. Finally, Mr. Speaker, give an indication as to how we're expecting the geopolitical tensions between the United States and our region to affect U.S. travel into the region, and by extension, the cost of our commitments to this particular minimum revenue guarantee. I heard the Prime Minister yesterday at his press conference. He talked about a few of these things, so maybe we can address how we anticipate these global tensions, particularly between us and the U.S., to affect our U.S. travel, and hence how it's going to affect our commitment to these minimum revenue guarantees that we are committing ourselves to. Finally, Mr. Speaker, the people of Dominica deserve some type of fiscal clarity and legislative integrity, particularly with resolutions and financial commitments made in this honorable House. We must ensure that financial resolutions passed by the Parliament are implemented faithfully, and that any deviation is transparently brought back to the House for debate and ratification. I will reiterate, Mr. Speaker, and this might be taken for granted sometimes, but it's absolutely serious, and we've heard the Prime Minister himself talk about this. The decisions that we make in this House, it affects the lives of Dominicans directly and immediately. Not just Dominicans, but the people who visit here. Most importantly, it will affect the life, the quality of life, and the future of the children and young people of Dominica. We're the ones, and not we, they are the ones who will be left with these financial commitments that we are making and that we continue to make here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I look forward to the clarifications that this Parliament and the people of Dominica rightfully deserve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Prime Minister.
Obviously, the Minister of Finance will respond to those questions in his rebuttal. But just to say to the Senator, the Honorable Senator, that in respect to how much has been drawn down from his guarantee, so far nothing has been drawn down because the first period will end in August of this year. So it's only then you will look at the 77% or 70% and determine how much we will have to contribute to United Airlines. So it's August of this year. That's when the first period. Because if you look at it, it says period 1, February 15, 2025 to August 16, 2025. Period 2, October 18, 2025 to April 25, 2026. And period 3, October 17, 2026 to April 2027. 24, 2027. So the additional flight will only form part of the 2 periods because this flight is starting in October of this year, the second flight. As I say, this the Wednesday flight. But in respect to the total amount, the minister, I will allow the minister to respond to that in his rebuttal. Mr. Speaker, by any measure, by any consideration, this is positive and exciting news for Dominica. An additional flight into the country, a country that does not yet have an international airport, has the ability to receive direct flights from source markets, has been a positive for Dominica. And the hoteliers, the taximen, the people in the tourism business are saying this to us, that they have seen a positive impact on their businesses as a result of this direct flight. So certainly adding a Wednesday will make that flight even more attractive to visitors and more accessible to visitors, so that somebody come from the East Coast can know they can fly from the East Coast and fly back directly to the East Coast. And that makes a huge difference from flying from New York to Miami or from New Jersey to Miami and catching a flight to come across, or even going through St. Martin, etc. So it's a positive news. But as we all know, Mr. Speaker, and you're a businessman, business people do not make decisions because they like this or they don't like that. They make decisions if they believe that there's an economic opportunity and a financial benefit for them to pursue a particular investment. And this is what United has done. And as we've said before, when we started pursuing these direct flights to North America and we approached United Airlines, they came to Dominica and did their own independent investigation. The technical folks, the engineers came down. And they said to us, look, we did our financials. We believe that there's an opportunity to fly into Dominica and to do business, but we need you to extend the runway. And in addition to the extension of the runway, we also need you to groove the runway. What do you do? What did we do? Notwithstanding the fact that we build an international airport, but even if you're going to, slaughter the bull for Christmas, it still must eat. You see, so we had to ensure that we had the ability to get these flights leading up to the construction and the function of the international airport. Now that's about, when you look at the grooving and the extension one, we talk about $45, $46, $47 million. We've also had to extend the space at the departure lounge in a dramatic way. We've also had to extend the visitors lounge, the entrance lounge. Several significant sums expended there. We've also had to invest in the lounge so that you have people coming in private planes, you have other people coming there in the country to look at opportunities. People want to have the facilitation for a private lounge, and they can have a meal, they can have a coffee, they can be facilitated. Because a billionaire is not going to come to Dominica and go and stand in no line anywhere with a private jet. And we are seeing more private jets landing in Dominica in recent time than any time, Mr. Speaker, because people are hearing about Dominica. And so we've had to make significant investments because we believe, Mr. Speaker, that for us to grow the economy and to create the jobs that we need, there are some critical things that we have to invest in. And this is why the government has deliberately, as part of its economic national plan, to be deliberate with its investments and to stick to them. Because we believe that the long-term benefits will far outweigh the current challenges that we're experiencing. And I always say to people, including my colleagues and others, who question, well, should we not defer the completion date of the airport and let it go until 2025 and so that we can have more money to do this and to do that? But the only way you're going to grow the economy and create sustainable jobs and to get more revenue coming is by bringing more people into Dominica. So this is why we took a deliberate decision as a government to partner with developers to invest in hotel construction. And if it was not for the government's direct intervention in the construction of hotels in Dominica, we will not be talking about five-star hotels in Dominica and having the kind of rooms that we have in the country. We partnered with them. So when Jungle Bay went down by way of Erica, Sam Raphael did not come to me. I went to him and said, let us work with you to rebuild Jungle Bay. And look at what Jungle Bay is today, Mr. Speaker. We recall when we brought range developments here to Dominica, that there were people in this country who wrote to international organizations saying that we were selling the national park. They wrote to the World Heritage, to UNESCO World Heritage, complaining to the World Bank, to international organizations. So we've invested in this, in hotel construction. We've also invested in these guest houses or this accommodation, private accommodation that people are providing. By putting monies at the aid bank, some $15 million from the CBI funds at 2% interest rate, people could invest in the hotel. We've invested in agro-processing, helping people to add value to the agricultural primary products. Added value, Mr. Speaker, you know what, I will tell you this. You're in the agro-processing food business, right? So you know this. And so we've invested there by putting some $10 million at the aid bank from the CBI funds at 2% for agro-processors. We've also invested in agriculture and fisheries by putting $15 million as the aid bank at one time at 2%, another time $10 million at 0%, another time $5 million at 2% for agriculture. All from the CBI funds. We went ahead in 2023 and contracted a loan of $30 million from the CDB. The original intention, Mr. Speaker, was to invest that money into roads, to complete the Larry Valley Road from the Larry Bridge to Sultan, and from Pokase to Wadia. Recognizing the challenge we've had during COVID and small businesses have been impacted dramatically by COVID, the government took a deliberate decision to divert those monies and put it at the aid bank to lend to small business owners in Dominica at 3%. $30 million in 2023. And I know of many people, and you could invest in your tourism accommodation, you could invest in agro-processing, you could invest in agriculture, and I know people who these loans have made significant positive impact on them. Because we want to ensure, Mr. Speaker, that everyone can benefit from the investments the government is making in the country. And you know, Mr. Speaker, that we went to the World Bank and we contracted dramatic loans for small business owners and also for agriculture and fisheries. Where now fishermen are getting boats and outboard motors, and we invested heavily in agro-processing under this project and invested heavily in agriculture in this project because we want to ensure that we have the ability to feed ourselves and to feed those who are going to come so farmers can continue to benefit from the increased visitor arrival. Because our intention, Mr. Speaker, our part of our strategy is to ensure that we can consume and our visitors can consume more of what we have in Dominica, as opposed to importing them. We've had a deliberate decision to invest in road infrastructure. And you remember, Mr. Speaker, there's a refrain, Dominicans can eat concrete. But it is said, Mr. Speaker, the road to development are roads. You don't build a house and not know how you're going to access the house. You must build access. And we have invested heavily in road infrastructure over the last years, Mr. Speaker. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to make traversing across the country easier. And lest we forget, because I said we don't teach students the real social studies and the real contemporary history in our schools and our society. People forget how it was to drive from Roseville to Douglas Childs Airport, the then McDonald Airport. People forget what under the cliff at Kenfield was like a few years ago. People forget what Taro under the cliff was like with no retaining wall and rocks falling. People forget what Scottsdale was like because people believe that that's how Dominica was before this Labour Party came to the government. And everywhere in this country, Mr. Speaker, no matter how remote the village is, whether it's Cobley in Pilit-Soufrière, Mr. Speaker, or whether it's in the Botanic Gardens, or whether it's in the Calago Territory, or Maho, or Massac, or Checkhall, or Salisbury, or Marigot, you name it, anywhere you see concrete roads is this little party that poured the concrete down those roads. Chance in Portsmouth, I see the Ambassador Nanton from Chance. We went to PSS, I went to PSS, my aunt worked at the Portsmouth Health Center in Zika. And we know up to the time we came to government, up to the time Rosie was in government. Also, I became Prime Minister in 2004. Dirt roads in Chance, and in Zika, and in Glanville, Labour Street in Glanville. Hundreds of millions of dollars, the majority of which, Mr. Speaker, by way of grants. And so we have invested. We've also invested dramatically in education, ensuring that people have access to education. Not only secondary, but also community college education and university education. And yes, there are times with the challenges of the external shocks and the hurricanes and the COVID, and it's the only time, Mr. Speaker, we had difficulties in meeting our day-to-day obligations to the students. But even notwithstanding that, we continue to ensure that every child with a commitment to pay their fees for them, we are paying those fees for them, Mr. Speaker. And that's why we have cleared the debts for many of the schools, Mr. Speaker. We are zero with them in terms of our arrears. Ensuring that every child has access. Our hope and prayer is that those who are educated can see this as an investment in themselves, and that they must use that to bring some returns to them. So let us look at the opportunities which exist in the country and see how we can position ourselves with our new knowledge to benefit from these things. So we've invested in these things. We invested in putting additional systems in place like the marina, the cable car, Mr. Speaker. If you see the sheer number of yachts that are docked outside the Prince Rupert Bay, but we don't have the facilities to take the real advantage of the benefits that exist for those. And we believe that the marina, with the facilities and the amenities that will be present on that marina, then the yachts will come in, they will buy fuel from Dominica. More fuel pushes to Dominica, more revenues for the country. They will buy water from us. They will buy fresh fruits from us. They will buy fish from us. They buy chicken from us, from abattoir. They buy eggs from us. And you understand the kind of impact it's going to have on the man on the street, and the man on the farm, and the man who has the poultry farm. So it's not just a marina, it is what the marina is going to do and will do in terms of its impact on the economy. And all of this we're seeking to do is to ensure that we can attract people so that they can consume all of what we are producing and manufacturing in Dominica. And the cable car, Mr. Speaker, we know when we had the aerial tram, the impact it had on the Roseau Valley and Loda in particular. The sheer number of people who disembarked the cruise lines just to go to the aerial tram. And if you have been on the aerial tram, Mr. Speaker, and I had the opportunity to travel on the cable car to the Boiling Lake recently, and this is just an amazing project. This is just out of this world experience, Mr. Speaker, you can have in taking this cable car from Loda and go all the way to the Boiling Lake and disembark and be able to walk 10 minutes to the Boiling Lake and view the Boiling Lake with excitement. And this is going to, and speaking to the developers, you're going to have about 300 permanent jobs created after this is completed. The sheer number of services that you can go to the top station at the Boiling Lake and get married there. The relevance is that
The relevance is the investment you're making, and to tell you this is why United is coming to Dominica, and sharing with you for your own edification and education, how, and to draw to your attention how the strategy is unfolding before your very eyes. Before your very eyes. And so, and then we come to the construction of the international airport, Mr. Speaker. Everybody who visits Dominica is in complete and absolute awe as to how we've been able to build this airport in this area. This is the biggest and most impactful and transformative project we will see in the country's history, Mr. Speaker. And rest assured, because when I say things, Mr. Speaker, they always come to pass. And I thank God for that. You're going to see, Mr. Speaker, with this airport, you're going to see a dramatic increase in visitor arrivals in Dominica. A dramatic increase in visitor arrival in Dominica, Mr. Speaker, benefiting the people of Dominica. When you go to Douglas Childs on a Saturday afternoon, with just 2 flights down on the ground, and you see the movement and the energy in there, Mr. Speaker, it tells you we're getting somewhere. We're not where we want to go yet, but we're getting somewhere. We're on the way, Mr. Speaker. And so I want to state again our appreciation to RMC, and in particular the CEO, Dr. Anthony Hayden, for partnering with us on this very ambitious project. And I think, Mr. Speaker, we have to give people credit for partnering with us in our efforts to make Dominica a more attractive place to do business, Mr. Speaker. This is why this project, we must all wrap it around the national flag. This is not about Roosevelt's spirit. This is not about the Dominican Labour Party. It's about Dominica and the future of Dominica, and creating more and more sustainable opportunities for current and future generations. That's what it's about. That's our service to the people of Dominica. And we talk about geothermal, Mr. Speaker. It has been a long road, because there's nowhere in the Caribbean, Mr. Speaker, that that road has traveled. Nowhere. But we have remained true to our commitment to taking advantage of our geothermal resource, Mr. Speaker, because we are convinced that this is one of the pathways to greater economic activity and investments in the country. Because energy is the highest cost for operators. You have a small business, like a restaurant, you have to put air conditioning because a man is going to sit there and sweat and eating his lunch. Energy cost. You have a hotel room, especially if you go in there for a weekend and so on, they leave the AC on, the doors on, they go for the whole day, the AC on, and your costs going up, Mr. Speaker, because you can't turn on the AC on them. A lady has a little shop, she must have a chiller, she must have a little freezer, she must have a little fridge. It must be on all day, she can't turn it off during the night and say, well, tomorrow I'll be on. And so the way towards reducing the cost of energy is by taking advantage of our natural resource. Now, we'll all agree it has been some time, we'll all agree it's costly, but we believe, Mr. Speaker, in the long run, we will see the benefit of this. This is an investment that will bring a dividend tomorrow, Mr. Speaker. That is why we're committed to it. And by the grace of God, Mr. Speaker, the project will come to a completion at the end of this year, and in 2026, we'll start benefiting from the geothermal energy. So all of this is part of it. So when we talk about where's the plan, where's the strategy, these are all of the things: education, road infrastructure, invest in agriculture, invest in fisheries, agro-processing, educating our people, ensuring people have access to education and skills, and in the process, protecting the environment, Mr. Speaker. The well Federal Reserve, all this are part of what we're doing in our way. And Mr. Speaker, all of these things have been achieved, and all of these things have been achieved on the backdrop of the numerous natural disasters that this government has faced since 2004. And in the first 25 years of our government, I want to say we did for long. The reality is we spent the first 6 years of government, Mr. Speaker, fixing a mess that we inherited. First 6 years was that, structural adjustment. And on top of the structural adjustment, we've had the most natural disasters in the history of our country in such a period of time. And not small natural disasters, dramatic ones. 90% GDP impact, 226% GDP impact. And COVID, a pandemic, Mr. Speaker. Wars and rumors of wars, Mr. Speaker. All of which we have to face, Mr. Speaker. Because rumors of wars bring uncertainty. Uncertainty in the market means people don't want to invest. People want to travel. But by the grace of God and the support of the masses of Dominica, Mr. Speaker, we are still standing. This is an amazing story. This is an amazing story that we have as a country, Mr. Speaker. I believe that we need to set aside our political differences and really tell the story to our children in an honest and transparent way, so that they too can feel part of the process. That Dominica has opportunities that we can take advantage of. Are we where we want to get to? No. Are the people who still challenges? Yes. They will always have challenges to deal with until Christ comes to judge the living and the dead. But you will always have challenges. But that notwithstanding, we are here. And so I stand, Mr. Speaker, in full support of the resolution before us, seeking to get a guarantee. This is a natural practice. In some countries, Mr. Speaker, they decide to go the route of creating an escrow. So we could have created an escrow, use funds that we have access to, and put in an escrow, but we don't believe that's the route to go. Because you're not taking $12 million away from access to you and put it in an escrow that you cannot touch for the period of time. So we decided the more prudent way to go is the route of this guarantee. So if they have to draw down and as the money is close by, and we can honor our legal obligation and they get access to it. So you only take some of it and not all of it, what you need at the point in time. We also have a similar facility, Mr. Speaker, with the World Bank, and it is called the Catastrophic Deferral Drawdown or Resilience Strategy, and part of our disaster preparedness strategy. We guaranteed a loan, we've taken a loan, a guaranteed loan of $20 million. That would be available to Dominica within minutes of a storm hitting us, Mr. Speaker. So that you don't have to go through the process if you are hit to get that money. The money is sitting in the World Bank. That if we're hit, then we cannot say we want the 52 million EC dollars and start helping the people of Dominica rebuild their lives. That is part of our strategy. On top of that, Mr. Speaker, $20 million, we have created a vulnerability risk reduction fund. And that came into effect in 2022 in the middle of the COVID-19, which speaks to the sheer responsibility and prudence of a government, Mr. Speaker, that we could be looking to save even during the most difficult period. And what we have started to do, because of our fiscal space for the time being, we are saving $500,000 every month. $500,000 every month. In the event that we're hit, that we know that we have some million somewhere, that we can draw down and buy food and clear the roads and to provide small businesses with some money to keep the business open, Mr. Speaker. That's what we're doing. And this is the funds that, Mr. Speaker, that we have used. We have drawn down some of those funds to build a wall in Penrice, to build a wall in Bells, to build a culvert in Makusri, to build a culvert in St. Joe, and a retaining wall in Lai. That's where the funds came from, by saving. And there's some additional interventions that we're making in the country to mitigate against possible impact of a natural disaster on us. Seeking to eliminate hazards as much as possible in the process of our disaster preparedness plan, Mr. Speaker. So this is good news for us, Mr. Speaker. I think this is something that we should have had in the real world, Mr. Speaker. We should have had some champagne in the house to toast. To toast, Mr. Speaker, because this is progress we should all celebrate as a people of Dominica. Because the reality is, Mr. Speaker, this is going to benefit every single person, whether you like it or not. You are going to benefit from this additional flight from United. And so, Mr. Speaker, things looking up. things looking up for Dominica. We're getting there, Mr. Speaker. It's been a difficult road because we have to face many difficulties, but we've never shirked our responsibilities. We never shirked our responsibilities. When we were hit by Maria, people who left, said Dominica finished, 20 years, 25 years going to take you. We rolled up our sleeves, we had our wet shoes on, Mr. Speaker, and we went to work the morning after the storm and never stopped working until today. Never looked back because of our shared commitment to this country. And so when I hear people talking about 10 pillars, 10 pillars to economic meltdown and shared poverty, that's what this 10 pillars are going to do. But here, Mr. Speaker, you agree with me, you agree with me. You agree with me. Mr. Speaker, the senators that will leave alone on that thing. They have to go with nothing. That 10 pillar stuff there means I agree with you. I agree with you, Mr. Senator. Senator, say, look, don't check me like that. And that 10 pillar stuff, I don't support in that thing. You understand? So, what the world in this difficult period, Mr. Speaker, I'll stop in 1 minute. This world has gotten so dramatically different that it's almost difficult to recognize the world as it is compared to 10, 15 years ago. The world is colder, there is more nationalism, there is an indignation towards multilateralism, there is not enough solidarity being extended among nations, especially in people's time of need and adversity. And this is why this period requires prudent and responsible leadership more than ever, Mr. Speaker. This is not a time for us to come here and to make offerings that we cannot keep. Because we all have families and we all know the challenges our family is confronting. The government is no different. And this is why my advice to the government, because I asked Mr. Speaker more in an advisory capacity to the government. Some of them listen to me, some of them listen to me. Is let us stick to that plan. The plan that we are on, the results are being delivered, and I believe when all these projects come to an end, a successful completion, geothermal, Marina, cable car, the additional hotels under construction are completed and open. The investment within agriculture, we have started to see the benefit of the fisheries. Agro-processing, the environment, and preserving and protecting the environment as a centerpiece of all of this. Continued education to our children and the education reform agenda that we are espousing. And the relationships that we have cultivated and we still have today, because people around the world, they may not agree with us in some instances.
Two more minutes.
Yeah, I'll stay with you 2 minutes. They respect us, Mr. Speaker, because we don't play games with no one. And we ensure, Mr. Speaker, all part of this, that the security of the state is paramount. Because we need to ensure that the state is secure, that we can go to the beach and bathe without any fear, that we can go to the hot water, we can go hiking, we can leave our homes open, with no burglar bars needed. And thank God, when you drive across Dominica, Mr. Speaker, you see the majority of our homes without burglar bars in Dominica. And this is a good thing. This is a good thing. My only admonition to us in this country, that as we move towards being more economic independent, as a nation and as individuals, and that we have a greater sense of prosperity, greater sense of opportunities, that we maintain the community spirit that we've been known for. That we know who our neighbors are. That we are in consultation with them. That we know that they have what they need or what they want. And that we can all form part of a neighborhood, a community that can maintain law and order, peace, the sharing spirit, the looking out for our neighbors concept as articulated in the Bible. And that we can be responsible for keeping our communities clean, and cutting the grass along the side of the road, that we all can get together and chip in a 150 every month and get somebody to cut the grass in our communities and not rely on the state. We have to pay attention to those things. Pay attention to those things as a community. And so, Mr. Speaker, I fully support this. I commend the Minister of Finance, I commend the Minister of Tourism and the Cabinet and all those who are involved in these negotiations. And we will not relent until we get to the point where we can see the real prosperity that we envisage, that the dynamic Dominica and the strategy that has been exposed and put into place by this party, this Labour Party, will bear the kind of fruits that we would like it. But as time goes by, at every point in time, we're seeing the fruits. So we came from no night landing, Senator Edwards, no night landing when he came to government, to introduction of night landing. We came from a point of no flights from outside the Caribbean to now direct flights from North America. And we have, what am I saying there? What do you mean? What do you mean, what are you saying there? No, what was that? What are you talking about? We had no night landing when? We introduced night landing. Oh, okay. So we had no night landing when it came to government. No night landing when it came to government. We had no direct flights outside the Caribbean, Mr. Speaker. Senator Edwards, through you, Mr. Speaker. Today, we're here to talk about direct flights from North America. And it brings such a sense of pride and accomplishment, Mr. Speaker. And I'm so happy when I go to the airport, I see people boarding a flight, and I know they're going to fly directly to Newark, New Jersey. And they can go directly to Miami, Mr. Speaker. And so let us work together. My call to us is for us to work together. And I have said, Mr. Speaker, this government, this party doesn't have all of the answers to the country's challenges or the global challenges confronted. This is why I believe in inclusivity, engaging people who are serious about Dominica, who are prepared to put Dominica first. And as I've said, and I mean this very sincerely, Mr. Speaker, that in the Labour House there are many rooms. And I'm making a clarion call to all, irrespective of who you are. Once the only qualifying criteria is that you put Dominica first. Put Dominica first. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Speaker? So the call is out there. If you're serious, join the progressive movement. If you're serious, join those who are serious about Dominica. If you're serious, join those who have shown time and time again their undying commitment to this country. Not those who only come when they're unemployed. And the moment they get a job overseas, whether it's in Marigold or the Saints, they rush across, Mr. Speaker. We need people who have shown their commitment. Their commitment, who's that? I think it's Dr. Thompson Fountain, your former leader. You see each other, you want me to call him my name? Senator Powers want me to call him my name, tell me, who is that? Who is that? You know what I'm saying, Mr. Speaker? The one that you couldn't sit next to because you think that you was a waste of time, Mr. Speaker. So, no. So, Mr. Speaker, so let us join the forces. Let us join the forces to move this country forward. Additional flight, Mr. Speaker, means more jobs for the taximen, more jobs for more guests for the Airbnb, the private, the guest houses, Mr. Speaker, more people coming into hotels, more restaurants will be food will be consumed, and it is difficult to get a car rented in Dominica most times because they're all rented out because people are coming and people are renting, Mr. Speaker. So this is good news. Good news. And this feels almost like Christmas Eve, Mr. Speaker, but I was reminded that we're still in June. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to close up on this resolution as well as to give some clarifications to the listening public. First and foremost, Mr. Speaker, we have to recognize that this guarantee we're coming here is for period 2 and period 3. It is not for period 1. Period 1 is ongoing and will go up till August 16. So we are not here to increase the guarantees for period 1. It is only for period 2 and period 3. Why? Because period 1 is ongoing and will go until the 16th of August. So that remains the same. But just to help the listening public a little bit, so when we say that there's 77% of the load factor, what it really says is that the average gap might just be about 15,000. So if you were to divide the 26 departures or multiply 26, then you get about 400,000. Now that total payout will be calculated at the end of period 1 when all the different terms have been reconciled. So that's period 1. So we're not touching this at all. What we're dealing with is period 2 and period 3. So the guarantee decreased in period 2 from 93,837 to 84,518. That is the decrease in the guarantee for period 2. The decrease in the guarantee for period 3 is from 95,859 to 86,209. So there are decreases in both the guarantee for period 2 and for period 3. So the guarantee now for period 2 goes from 3.61307 million. It has now come to 12.213 million. This is where the 12.2 comes from, Mr. Speaker. I can go over it again if you want me to. That's okay. So you've understood that. So that does not include period 1. We're only talking about increase for period 2 and period 3. So the increase for period 2 and 3 went 7.307 million to 12.213 million. It's as simple as that. Period 1 is not included in that. I think that's pretty much simple. So it's only 2 bank guarantees, so that explains it here. But Mr. Speaker, I fear that the listening public, the whole, what we are trying to achieve here, I do not want it to get diluted with the little figures. Granted, the financial part is very important. We have to be accountable and transparent. That's how this government has all been about. So yes, I'm very happy to have clarified this. But the bigger picture is to see the benefits that this brings to the country. So we cannot keep all the time, granted, looking at the trees. We have to see that these trees make up a forest. That's the bigger picture that this government is bringing to the country here. So whether it's in terms of job creation and all the economic activity for all the persons involved in the tourism sector, all the persons involved in the airports, and it's just all about the jobs, the economic activity that this brings to the country. And obviously there must be a little increase because you're not having 1 flight as we used to have. We have 2 flights now. So that is exactly why the guarantee had to increase. So I've explained how the guarantee was increased, the figures, and I've just told you that we have to look at the bigger picture, what this brings to the development of the country. Now, Mr. Speaker, we cannot take this in isolation as well, because all what we've been doing, it's a plan, it's a blueprint that we're functioning from. So even the international airport, that is part of the plan. Even when we are to the extension of the runway and the grooving, that is part of the plan. Even getting the flights from North America, that is part of the plan. The hotels that are being built, because these very same tourists will be in these hotels. The 3 to 4 night stay over visitors as opposed, and also the 1 week visitors. It's a big plan, and Mr. Speaker, we just have to join the bits and the bits of the puzzle, join the dots, and you can see how this is a clear thinking, visionary government that is bringing all these different development programs to this country. So having said this, Mr. Speaker, I think we all agree that yes, this is a move in the right direction, and the people of Dominica just stand to benefit. The country just stands to benefit, and we just have to take advantage of this. We have to stay with a positive mind and always see the good things, as the poem always says, always look at it, a glass half filled, not half empty. Gradually. Obviously, we'll be pragmatic along the way when we have to adjust, like we have to adjust the guarantees, so we come here to adjust the guarantees. But it's the bigger picture that we have to keep focused on. It's all for the development of this country. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
This concludes the debate on the motion. I will now put the question. Be it resolved that in accordance with Section 37 of the Finance Administration Act, Chapter 6302, of 2017 revised laws of the Commonwealth of Dominica, this Honorable House authorizes an increase in the bank guarantees from a total of $7,307,642.35 to a total of $12,213,300.40 for Discover Dominica Authority to obtain from the National Bank of Dominica. These bank guarantees are required to secure the existing and additional commitments made in the air service agreement between the Discover Dominica Authority and United Airlines for the provision of direct flights from New Jersey to Dominica. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. The motion has been approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move the second reading of the bill shortly entitled Geothermal Resources Concession Validation Act 2025. Mr. Speaker, in 2023, by decision number 1130, Cabinet approved a concession agreement between the Government of Dominica and the Geothermal Power Company of Dominica 2023 Limited. In keeping with the relevant provision of the Geothermal Resource Development Act, Chapter 8502, 2017 revised laws, under Schedule B, the Act made provisions for notices under the concession agreement to be published in the Official Gazette, to include invitations for comment from the public to any application received. Dominica's Gazette serves as the official means of publishing decisions of the government, legal notices, and statutes. While a mandated Gazette announcement inadvertently went unpublished, and this omission has since raised concerns about the validity of the approved concessions, there have been continuous engagement with the community and stakeholders. A total of 8 consultations and community project update meetings were held in Loda, Trafalgar, Fockley, and Goodwill since the application of this concession. Discussions and visits to the project site are also ongoing with local residents and the small business community. The construction of the 10-megawatt geothermal power plant in Loda is at an advanced stage. All major components of the plant are on island. The major components of the system, including the turbines, generators, and heat exchange system, have been installed. We expect that this important power plant will be online in 2025. The validation statute is hereby tabled to mitigate legal risk associated with challenges to effective decisions and ensure continued confidence in project operations and other legal processes. This statute explicitly recognizes all related decisions as legally valid from their intended effective date. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
The bill is before the House for debate. Yes, Honorable Blackmore, you are
Yes,
recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I think the Honorable Prime Minister spoke a while ago and gave a historical perspective of every element of our development so far in this country. But I wanted to just add my voice to this measure before this Honorable House. And there's an old saying that goes that way. In order to experience crucifixion, you must go through it. But something wonderful emerges thereafter, as was manifested by Christ when he walked the earth. Resurrection. Oh, Mr. Speaker, every important project or policy instrument that this country has experienced has either been conceptualized, developed, implemented by a Dominican Labour Party or resurrected by a Dominican Labour Party. And why do I say that? No, it is not by accident that this measure here this morning is being presented before this Honorable House and to this nation and the world by extension by Prime Minister Ruth Bess-Kerry, who hails from Vietnam, who also leads the Dominican Labour Party in a different era. But, Mr. Speaker, if I were to take you back to August 20th, 1974, something historic happened before the Honorable House. But the Premier then, Hugo Leblanc, introduced this bill, which was enacted into law on the date it was referenced, the Geothermal Energy Act. The Honorable Prime Minister was 2 years old then. If I'm not his godfather, I'm older than him, but I think that was his age. He was 2 years old. And the objective therein was to have done the following. One, for the exploitation of geothermal energy, and two, for the setting up or establishment of a company. Today, it is amazing, absolutely amazing, that we are before this Honorable House to give effect, legal effect, to a concession that was entered between the geothermal company and the government of Dominica. Mr. Speaker, this is deep thinking, hard thinking, which requires, therefore, not only grit, but commitment to our national development. And a Labour Party who has been in office throughout that time and now to be enjoying the reign of office to act and work on behalf of the people of this country. And that is the context, Mr. Speaker, I believe in the political significance that has to be given to that. And Mr. Speaker, so today, and I want to take this opportunity because there are a number of people calling the radio station from overseas and believe, and everybody who has taken the decision to leave Dominica and to stay overseas, I welcome that and big up to them. But the notion that you have to be enticed to come back to your country to build a country, I have a beef with that. And today, this young man, Mr. Fred John, quietly has returned to his country and driving this project, Mr. Speaker. He is a great Dominican. And it means, therefore, Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister does reference that these are the kind of people who are interested in the country. They come and they make the contribution, and you don't hear them, Mr. Speaker. And I want to commend you for that, Mr. Fred John. And all of you over there talking and making up stories, do like him. Come back and help build this country. Mr. Speaker, let's go back. Let's go back to the geothermal energy development endeavor in this country. Labour Party again, after it was dead, it went through a period of crucifixion, Mr. Speaker. You know what I'm saying? But it was resurrected. When did it start? It started with the new dynamism and the new renaissance, which was also said in the early 2000s. When we brought, of course, we have this French Institute of Geological Investigation and Mines, started the process of exploration. And then in March 2008, what happened? The actual program began. In Watton-Waven, Soufriere, the Boiling Lake, etc. When we did, of course, the investigation to get an appreciation as to the extent of, Mr. Speaker, of the resource. And then we had the test wells. And today, Mr. Speaker, we have the production wells. Today, the company has started. And as heard from the Prime Minister, in 2026 next year, we shall have geothermal energy into our national grid, Mr. Speaker. As the greatest president this world has ever seen, Obama said, a black man said, development is a process. It doesn't come overnight. It is hard, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, you need a government, Mr. Speaker, with the leadership that wants, is committed to working hard on behalf of the people of this country. And that is what this project today, Mr. Speaker, is manifesting. That you have to work hard, Mr. Speaker. You have to be committed. And what it means, Mr. Speaker, upon its completion, what it means to our gross domestic product. And I am fellows talking, comparing the 90s and the 80s to now. Mr. Speaker, in 1980, what was the gross domestic product of this country? About $81 million. When Roosevelt Square, the Prime Minister, took over this country, the gross domestic product of this country was $331 million. Today it is $1.9 billion, Mr. Speaker. We're talking about, we're comparing what? Apples and what? And grapes, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, with the inclusion of another contributor to the gross domestic product, you know what it means, Mr. Speaker? How significant that gross domestic product is going to grow. And why do I say that? It costs the country an average of $55 million a year, Mr. Speaker, just to import fuel for energy generation. Can you imagine that? What it means, Mr. Speaker, to our foreign exchange? What it means to our current trade deficit, Mr. Speaker? What it means? And Mr. Speaker, from a practical standpoint, what it means to the ordinary man. On average, it costs us, the consumer, 71 cents per kilowatt hour. 71 cents. And then you're not talking about, there's something they call, the engineer, kilovolt, they call that? Kilovolt, right. And you're Mr. Lancelot there, but on the other side, Mr. Speaker. And an additional $4.42 per month per kilovolt. Surcharge, you know. And that is contingent upon the time of the day, Mr. Speaker. So you're talking about practical benefits to the consumer, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I believe that the geothermal project in itself, in my view, is the biggest and most consequential project this country will ever see in the history of this country's development. And why I say that, and the Prime Minister is right. Energy is key. Energy, I shall focus. Energy is the source of life, Mr. Speaker. You know what I did to you? I dismantled the political career. You want to come back and me again? All right? So, let me concentrate. I forgot about you. All right? So, this is the key or the source of life, Mr. Speaker. And think about the energy-intensive companies that this country is going to attract, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, everything. Now I heard them talking. I heard them talking about how we can attract grant funding we have to go green, etc. What greatest from a fountain that cannot control the water coming from this fountain? Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, talking about we can attract credit from writing projects and attract, if we go green. What greater manifestation of green than geothermal energy? What is SIC to do to decarbonize our national energy grid? Or less reliance on fossil fuel? You know, get my point I'm saying? I'm not a civil engineer, but I'm a social scientist. I study this thing there too. The impact of this thing. What do you guys think now? A lot of things, you know, technology and the environment, the impact on human disposition, etc. The facts of life, the social facts. What are you talking about? Because before economics was a discipline, it was part of sociology. Economics is a recent discipline. Yes. So when you guys come and talk there and it's all about Skerritt and Blackmore, we're social scientists. You're more advanced than all the fellas. So let me tell you something. Understand? Let me tell you something. So man think man politician, man was police, something like that. Man, what are you guys talking about? We can sell our fellas 6 times. That's all. That's what I said. So man, I want to tell you something. So this thing is big. It is huge, Mr. Speaker. And it's only the Dominican Labour Party administration can do that for you. And there's a reason why the Labour Party has been in office for that long. Because those things, the airport could not have happened. Geothermal could not have happened. Nightland could not have happened. Because I took the first flight and I failed to fly. So the first, I told the person not to come and let me alone go. Understand? The first flight that came to Dominica, night landing, I was in Mr. then, I was on board. So I can tell you about it. We have been part of that process of development that started in 2004 and beyond, Mr. Speaker. Let us not fool ourselves. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm proud. Dr. Henderson is not there. This is a guy who has worked hard, diligently, Mr. Speaker. I think, as my brother, because he and Mr. Scrape inspired me to get into politics. I don't know how he can do that thing there. But I think that should be named after him, the plant. Because this guy from day one, I'm telling you why. Because when I was in Barbados, he was the one who introduced me to the Clinton Foundation. Honorable President Destiny was an ambassador then. And he has been working, and today have his PhD in a similar field. So let us big up Vince, he's not there. Dr. Vince Anderson, and big up the only party that is serious about. For matter of fact, when I say it is safer and Labour Party is the safest, I say the Labour Party is the only party in the Commonwealth. Because you see Dominica Commonwealth, eh? So the Labour Party is the only party in the Commonwealth, Dominica. The other ones have degenerated into interest group, fragmentation, and they're being led by a fountain. You can't get away by being led by a fountain. That fountain has to be demonstrate its ability to control its water and must be able to contain itself. And if you cannot control the water, Mr. Speaker, you cannot control yourself. You cannot govern a country, Mr. Speaker. This is serious business. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, we just witnessed a very spirited contribution from very passionate, very passionate, and articulating a historical, chronological context. Mr. Speaker, every time we bring a matter like this to the Parliament, it means that we're making progress, that things are moving from one step to the other. This is no different. This bill, though very simple and administrative in nature, but it's also a signal that we're making progress and that things are moving along very nicely. So we're very grateful for that. As I said, this is going to be a major, this is a major part of our economic strategy, or strategy to create jobs, sustainable jobs in the economy, and to ensure that we can enhance our ability to attract investment, and those who are already invested can sustain the investments in our country so that they can invest the profits that they're making and create more jobs in the economy. This will also help with the protection of the environment, as the Minister for National Security indicated, reduce our carbon footprint, and also continue our contribution in leading the way in terms of environmental sustainability and the preservation and conservation of our environment. I want, before I close, I want to express our thanks to Honorable Dr. Vince Henderson, the Minister for Energy, for his leadership on this project over the years. I want to thank Mr. Fred John, who really is the anchor, the administrative and technical anchor of this project. And I have in the past referenced Mr. John's contribution as a Dominican, someone who lived in the diaspora, someone who has talent, and someone who was decided to sacrifice some wage earning and to come to make his contribution to Dominica. And as the Minister of National Security indicated, this is what we must do. and I think that at some point the country will recognize Mr. Fred John's contribution to Dominica's development. And of course, the other staff members at the geothermal office, the staff of the Ministry of Energy. I want to also recognize the efforts of the Honorable Attorney General and some of his state attorneys in his chambers, and in particular, the Solicitor General, Mrs. Tamika Hyacinth Good, who continues to provide great legal advice and support to the geothermal efforts. And of course, to my friends in the Land Service Department, Mr. Lestrade, and the entire team there, because every piece of land the government has to acquire, the chief surveyor must survey. And every piece of land the government will sell, as small as it is, as big as it is, and the folks at the Land Survey Department are really in large measure unsung heroes, because they have to brave the weather and go into mountains and valleys and to ensure that every square foot of land can be properly surveyed, and so that the survey plan can be had, and we can properly compensate people for their property. And so these guys work very, very, very hard. All of them, from the chief surveyor down to the surveyor assistant that we have. And so, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Parliament for its support on this measure, on its understanding on this measure, and we look forward to December. Hopefully next week, the Cabinet will pay a visit to the geothermal plant, extend an invitation to all the members in the opposition. We'll communicate with you, and if you are available, you could join us on a tour of the geothermal plant. Yourself, Mr. Speaker, and of course the clerk of the House would invite you to be part of this tour of the geothermal plant, and to understand what we're doing that will eventually benefit all of us in this country. As I said, this is central to our strategy, and the reality is, had it not been for all of these natural disasters and also the COVID-19, I believe the country would have been way ahead. The sheer amount of money, and I think it's always good to repeat these things, because sometimes we ourselves as a country, we question our abilities, and we also question where we were and where we are, and sometimes we want things now for now, and not understanding the context within which this government has had to govern the affairs of Dominica. And we thank God for His many blessings. The challenges have come, but we've stood tall, we've stood strong. We have some good partners in the region and the global community who have stood with us and who have been very steadfast with their efforts. I want to thank the company that we have engaged to engage in this project. They've been very diligent, very cooperative with us, and we look forward to this long and beneficial relationship. Also, we can't leave out DOMLEC and the management and board of DOMLEC, who also are crucial in ensuring the success of the geothermal plant and getting the geothermal resource to our homes and businesses. So with this few words, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you and thank everybody for their contribution towards the debate. Thank you.
This concludes the debate. It has been moved and seconded that the bill shortly entitled Geothermal Resources Concession Validation Act 2025 be read a second time. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it. The bill will not be read a second time.
Geothermal Resources Concession Validation Act 2025.
The bill will now stand committed to the committee of the whole House to be considered clause by clause. House is in committee. I have to report that the bill shortly entitled Geothermal Resources Concession Validation Act 2025 passed the committee stage without amendment. The question is that the report of the committee on the bill be adopted. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it.
Entitled Geothermal Resources Concession Agreement Validation Act 2025 be read a third time and passed accordingly.
Mr. Speaker,
It has been moved. Yeah. Yes, I think they said seconded.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to second.
Seconded, okay, great. It has been moved and seconded that the bill shortly entitled Geothermal Resources Concession Agreement Validation Act 2025 be read a third time and passed. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. The bill has been read a third time and passed accordingly.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House may adjourn Senate.
Seconded, Mr. Speaker.
It has been moved and seconded that the House be adjourned, sign and die. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. House is adjourned, sign and die.
Have to send somewhere else?
By the way, you have to call it ceremony. The media. No, no, no. I don't see. Yeah. But it was an important opportunity to talk to him. It's one of those things that most people want to write to talk. So I think we have to report. Because it was the way now some people tell them and then so it's just yeah, that's what I told him. So I say, let's say, for example, if I see somebody says, I'm not saying this, but good stuff or something like that's dog, we be touched. What do you think? What is the brother? Good? Yes, it's good. We doing good, you okay? So, we got it's not all. And if you put it good, that's good. I'm going to do that. So, say, for example, flattery. You have to do one thing that the person, and then one that is nice one. Every one. Yes. I treat them like that. So that's what I've been doing for the last week. I've been with them and it's suck up to them. You know what I mean? That's right. So that's the thing I do to find so these are the little things I do. That's correct. That's correct. So that's what I'm doing. Hold on to it. So even if we back when we playground, they were the ones who made the playground. So we paying for it. They give us the playground. Well, for now. But I try to get some more stuff from them. So when they say have children, they have children. They have plenty of children. They have children. So I told them that's where the children should have. They shouldn't have to go to roads to do that. So that is how I've been able to get some stuff. Yeah, so what? Everything in my house.